The following video is for people who want to alter the way Firefox, the web browser, displays or doesn't display things when you type something into the URL bar or address bar or awesome bar or whatever the hell they want to call it so that they can make a completely new article and make it and never tell you that that's its name. Open a new tab, type in about:config. It's the about config page, or whatever is equivalent for your version on your platform, and type in, I'll be careful, and preferably don't show this to me again. And then the other thing is tell it to show you all settings. Yes, it will sit there for seemingly too long. And then type in browser.urlbar. This will bring up a lot of different options. And they all start that way. And they're all related to what the URL bar does that is not being a URL bar. This is the bar where you type in the universal resource locator, the web address, the domain name, IP address, whatever. If you see browser.urlbar.maxRichResults, you can change that to 0 and it should turn off almost all of the annoyances in it. The other one is something called Scotch Bonnet Enable Override, which you can set to false. Now, why would a person do this? On some pages, if I'm trying to look up something on the page and it won't let me right-click or cut and paste because it's interfering aggressively with me doing research, I need to be able to see what I'm typing below it. And this bringing down a list of suggestions I never freaking asked for. Like it's trying to emulate Google's really terrible predictive, we'll just call it that, but it's autofill functions. I need to be able to turn this completely off. I don't mind if I put in something and hit enter and it does a search. I don't mind that. The thing is, I don't want it to do this because it will keep moving while I'm typing. It's very distracting. And again, at the top of the page, I might be looking at the thing I need to copy and paste in and it won't let me, so I have to type it manually. And having it directly underneath the URL bar makes it possible for me to type it in. Ironically, when I was trying to look this up, I ran into pages, of course, by Mozilla that wouldn't let me cut and paste text because, of course, they're going to aggravate the hell out of users. That seems to be the only purpose for most corporations these days, is to see how many times they can push your buttons to see if you're going to blow up. I wonder if they have a rage detector program that figures out when the microphone is being pegged by the sound level of us screaming at our computers. But anyway, turning off this constant, obviously distracting, obviously annoying, obviously, short attention span manipulating crap, turning it entirely off by putting in a 0 after max rich results works for me. Warning, I'm using Firefox 115, only begrudgingly, because it will now, it works on almost all the websites I visit. It's the last version that'll work on Windows 7, my current platform I'm using. No, I don't care if you're talking about how Windows 10 is being dropped for support. We can have a rant about that later. But anyway, if you go to browser.urlbar. Under About Config and look all this shit up, you will find that you can turn it most of it off with 1 or 2 settings. The others are still sitting there, like suggest bookmarks, suggest history, suggest whatever open pages, suggest searches, autocomplete is enabled, URL.autoFill, I'm going to help you. Hyperactivity or hyperactions, or basically helping. From the beginning of computer usage, people need help when they're doing this. When the help ends up just annoying them because they've learned enough that they don't want help anymore and you can't shut help off, you need to shut off help. And I've noticed it is in, for some reason, every large corporation's best interest to tie up as many processor cycles and throw as many electrons down the drain as possible and use up as much energy on this planet as possible, doing things they know goddamn good and well will make us furious with them. And yes, I really do believe this is an experiment to see how far they can push people and see if they can control people's behavior this way. Corporations are run by megalomaniacs and sociopaths at virtually all times. There aren't any exceptions. Even your favorite charity is probably run by a crazy person. And this kind of behavior really appeals to people who want to just make people miserable in any way, even if it's a little. I swear they think about how much they're reducing the population due to heart attacks from doing this. And I want to point out that YouTube does the same thing. Oh, let's move the buttons around for no good reason. Instead of solving the problem of everything we complain about and everything the government complains about and the police department and victims complain about. Let's ignore all that shit. Let's make the buttons transparent. Let's fuck with the user interface. Let's literally, let's invade Chicago instead of give us the Epstein files. So anyway, yeah, that's about it. So if you came here wondering how do I get rid of this, it's literally about config and make sure it shows everything. I know some of you don't like that. That's why I pointed out. And then browser.urlbar.maxRichResults and set it to false or 0. I set it to 0 and it worked. That seems to be all you need to do. Whether it's still spying on you or not is, yes, it is. But at least this will make it to where it isn't as aggravating while it does it. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Good luck with that. You'll only